Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction and review for Justified City Primeval Season 1, Episode 7. So, here's what's going to happen in this video. We're going to have a good, drawn-out, entertaining episode. We're going to have some really fascinating conversation. It's all going to build and build, and then somebody is just going to turn up at the last moment and just, like, haul us away. And then that's going to be the story now.
I'm taking my W on Maureen. I knew you were dirty. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. What do they have on you, Maureen? What is it?
Okay, take your W on Marine. You've earned that.
Oh my goodness. When Raylan had that gun and brought it to Maureen, I was like, no. Oh my goodness. No, please don't give it to Maureen. This is going to go so badly. And it did.
We are all taking an L on the ending, though. Like, let's be okay. Maybe not. Maybe somebody out there like this, but I'm just like, you guys finally give me what you want, what I've been wanting. Raylan and Clement, like, seemingly going to a showdown at the OK Corral,
right?
And I was like so
and
into
then
this.
Toma shows up. Hey guys, we going for a ride.
I do not care at all about him, this organization. I kind of like Hot Dog Guy, whose name I still do not know other than Hot Dog Guy. Like, I'm still invested in him, but I'm just sort of like, what? Are Raylan and Clement gonna have to work together now? Like, what is it? What is this? Like, why am I here?
Yeah, they just needed to end it with Clement and Raylan sitting at that table. Like, that whole end part with Toma showing up and taking the gun, throwing it over the bridge. Oh my goodness. I was just like, okay, well, yeah, these two are in it now with him because it's not great.
Okay, we'll get a little bit more into all of this. There's complicated emotions ahead, but be sure to join our Patreon. We have a link for you guys in the description below. Every Monday night, we are doing a live stream over there. You can come and chat with us about Justified. Also, we are covering so many other great shows right now. What We Do in the Shadows, also on FX. Ahsoka is premiering tonight on Disney Plus. We've also got Only Murders in the Building going, which is a really great season so far.
Absolutely. There's a lot going on here at the channel, so hit that subscribe button and stick with us.
Okay.
Okay, where are we going to start with this mess?
I'll say this. I understand that the Albanian mob story had to come back because you guys invested the time that you did in it earlier this season. Like, I understand that. I get it. I just wish that we could go back in time and pluck it from then or end it way back when so that we didn't have to bring it back now, because I think a lot of this episode is really good. Like, I think a lot of this episode is some of the best stuff that they've done throughout all of City Primeval, and it's just to divert us off into this other place that I don't want to speak for everybody, but I just don't think a lot of people wanted this at this point in the show.
I just think, yeah, that if they were going to introduce it, which they did, they just kind of, it disappeared for like a couple episodes where I was kind of like, how is Clement still just walking around like everything is fine? He's got the mob after him, but you know, what did they just be like, forgiven, let's move on. Like, how is he moving around so freely? Like, why don't they know where he is? It's a huge organization. It was a bit strange that it just disappeared like that. And then it came back into play here. We saw even Sandy at one point try to get back together with Hot Dog Guy because she realized she couldn't get anywhere with Clement anymore, and he was like, no, but you're a dead lady. And it's just kind of like, okay, like, is this coming back into play or not?
Yeah. And Clement, he is maybe the most arrogant person I've seen on TV in quite some time, because clearly he's just like wandering around, not concerned about any of this, only concerned still that he can make more money, not seemingly concerned with the idea that he just killed Sweetie on this past episode. He ain't worried about that either. He's not worried that Raylan is going to find a way to stop him. He's just sort of letting all of this stuff roll off his back.
Yeah, and I understand why. Like, with Maureen and that whole thing, like, I had thought that she was the person who probably, because she was there searching him, she was there for the search, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, he's clean, no gun, no little piece of paper, no nothing. There's nothing on him. He's great. He's got to go. I was just like, okay, this
Yeah.
is why then Clement feels as arrogant to be able to walk around, just be like, man, nobody can touch me. I have the whole police force behind me now. I've got everybody in this book. Everybody's going to do everything I want. And so far, some of them did. I mean, Maureen pulled in somebody who had nothing to really do with anything. It
Yeah.
was Clement that actually killed the judge. And all of a sudden, she's got this other guy in here being like, you did it. I know you did it. It was just like, this performance is pretty rough, man. Like when Raylan came out, was like, are you kidding me with that performance? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and her basically then just telling Raylan, "Oh, you've done your job here. You can go up to Miami." I was so mad. Maureen, you suck. This is an anti-Maureen channel. You're gonna get what's coming to you in one way or another.
This is one of my problems with the season, though, is just that Raylan in the past, he's really smart and
Yeah.
he's been able to figure things out fairly quickly, which is one of the things that I really like about Justified compared to other crime shows, cop shows. Like we covered The Blacklist here for a really long
Yeah.
time. It's a show that we really loved and it was really fun. But the FBI were bumbling throughout the whole thing because it was the only way that the bad guy could kind of continue to get away. But there's a balance that you can have, and Justified, the original, always had it, where it was like, yeah, Boyd was getting away with whatever, but Raylan was always able to figure things out and he was really fast at it.
Yeah.
And this season, it has felt like he's really kind of bumbling around. Like he kind of knew that something dirty was going on with, the cops, but he didn't know enough and he didn't know quickly enough. And it just felt like not him.
He gave them, I think, too much of the benefit of the doubt, where I don't think he wanted to assume that everyone was compromised, and he wanted to at least
And that one guy wasn't. He came down and gave Raylan the gun.
Yeah, and there were clearly some people who weren't, but I think you need to have a healthy amount of caution for every single person in this department, just because of what you know already, and what you know is pretty substantial. And he didn't seem to have that. He definitely didn't seem to have that enough with Maureen, and now he has sort of landed himself in this position where he doesn't really have anywhere to go, and that's sort of what sets up this, showdown with Clement in the first place, where I think he sort of realizes, okay, if there's only going to be one way to stop this, it's got to be with me doing the job, because I don't trust anybody else. This is just going to have to be mano a mano at this point. It's a hard choice to look back on, alongside a number of other hard choices that kind of happened throughout this episode.
Yeah, like Sandy's hard choices. I mean, when
Yeah.
she found out that Sweetie was dead, I mean, she was out. Like
Yeah.
she was done. She was just like, okay, there's this the bodies are piling up. The money's never going to be enough. Clement is never going to leave with me but her whole thing like,
Yeah.
I love you and you don't love me. You haven't shown me your music. I just about died.
What, you want to hear his music? Do you want to know what other sort of White Stripes covers he has buried somewhere in there?
She did a great job really playing him to get the money and just be
Yeah.
like, I'm at the airport and I'm ready to go kind of thing. Clemens figured it out, but
Yeah.
she was able to really set all that up for Raylan to meet up with Clement for finally this kind of little bit of a showdown, or just
Yeah.
a conversation even at the table with the gun sitting on the table. I was just like, this is what I've been waiting for
Yeah.
all season. And I wish that there had been a little bit more of it. Just a couple other
Yeah.
confrontations where they were together, because it paid.
Yeah, like this is the thing that City Primeval has missed on a few times, is that we all know Timothy Olyphant is great. Like,
Yes.
Boyd Holbrook is a really good actor too.
Yes.
And seeing these two go face to face, like, this is what Justified is all about. It's, the hero versus the villain, and however much gray area you want to say is there. But these two are both very smart, very capable. I mean, what Clement has been able to pull off is really shocking, that he's been able to just form this much power in the city. And it's taken a very select set of circumstances to
Mhm.
really sort of trip him up a little bit here. And, his feelings, I think, in some ways do get in the way. And the crazy thing is that, if what happened with Sweetie didn't happen, Sandy probably wouldn't have done most of what she did in this episode. It's just every person has that part of a tipping point. And of course, we all know, Clement, you should have just gone to the Bahamas or wherever else, or Bermuda, or like somewhere a long time ago, but you just can't, because you want to feel important, you want to feel special. This is why you do your music, because you want attention, and you will get your attention however you can.
Yeah, and I think having that book changed things a lot for him too, where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm getting money and I'm getting regular money coming in. That's great. But I think he really was in a position of power that he was never in before. He had some power
Yeah.
and he was able to, elude capture for a long time. But once he had that book, and I'm sure went through it and was like, oh, here's this cop and this cop and oh, this detective. Cool. Now you all work for me. I think is a type of power that he didn't have before. And giving that up for him, a guy like him, is tough.
I'm gonna make some tinfoil hat predictions
All
here
right. All
for the
right.
finale.
In the finale, we're going to see Win Duffy.
Okay, that's what I want to see.
Let's just bring in another mob.
Okay, oh boy, that's what we need on this. No, I do want to. I mean, I would love to see an original character in there.
Yes, Win Duffy, Ava Boyd.
Yeah,
Somebody, come on, bring him in.
yeah. I think I feel like they'll wrap like the city primeval part of this stuff up with Detroit and all of this, but
He doesn't live there.
yeah, you can give us a teaser for what the next thing is gonna look like. Like, I foresee that, as much as it pains me to say, I think at this point we're gonna see Raylan and Clement have to work together to a certain extent
Mhm.
to get away from the mob, find a way to free themselves from this. But then I think we're gonna get to this point where Raylan has to sort of look at himself in the mirror and be like, I have a chance to take out Clement now, to really stop all of this before it gets worse. Or I can try to capture him, turn him over to the authorities, and hope that something is going to actually happen with all of this, whether it's the relationship I have with Carolyn, whether it's the relationships I've developed, or just like there are enough good people in the force to make sure he gets taken away. But is he going to trust them to do that at this point? Or is he just going to be like, okay, I have to take this guy out myself, or he's going to kill other people?
I think Raylan is going to be in such an interesting spot going into that finale where he knows that there's so much corruption going on the force that even when he hands over the murder weapon, he's still not caught.
Yeah.
Like, I think that moment, as frustrating as it was, because, I knew Maureen was not there all the way with Raylan, that it was going to go this way. He needed to see that for himself, that he's got him, right there. Here's the gun. It's him. And he's still getting away with it. That at this point, now that they're together, it's like, is he going to find a way to turn his back and let the mob just kill Clement? Because if he doesn't, Clement's just going to get away with it. He's got too many people on the force.
Yeah.
The book's not on him. Like, that book is still out there. He has said the book is the key to take him down. He can't get to the book because now Toma's got them riding around in the car.
I feel like at a certain point, Raylan's just going to be like, whatever happens here happens. I think he's going to do something to try to make sure that the Clement threat is contained on some level, whether it's he has the mob do away with him, he gets arrested, Raylan takes him out himself, whatever it is. And then I think he's just going to wash his hands of this situation and probably be like, I don't ever want to think of being in this place again.
The problem is that the one thing that Raylan had on Clement is now in, the bottom of the water. Like, it just made it that Raylan really doesn't have that many choices. That
Yeah.
if he gets Clement out of this situation, There's nothing tying him to the judge's murder anymore. It is washed away because Thomas basically like by dropping that gun in the water, he's basically like nobody's leaving the situation. I'm sorry for your luck, but like you're just done. I don't care about this gun because he's not going to jail. And I'm not going to let you have an opportunity to take him to jail.
It's really what makes the finale interesting and complicated. And I'm still not happy about the fact that it's okay now we're having to spend time with these people when I just wanted to see Clement versus Raylan, but we probably will get some good action sequences out of it. I do
so.
think we are still going to get a showdown, a final showdown if you will, between these two people. I don't think that Clement ends the finale with alive and free. I think he either gets killed or he ends up behind bars. I think they're going to want to wrap this part of it up.
I don't know how Clement makes it out of this alive. And I don't see him going behind bars. There's nothing tying him to anything anymore. That gun is gone. There's nothing. So he's not going to end up in jail. It's either does he end up in the wind or does he end up dead? And I don't think he's not going to get out of this alive. I think he's done for. He's there with, how is he going to escape the whole mob? And why would Raylan help that at that point?
The only other thing I wonder about the finale is if we're going to see Raylan's daughter again. But even still, I'm just sort of like, what's going to be accomplished there? Because Raylan's doing the job. Like, that is the reason he sent his daughter away. And I think she's old enough to understand that that's why it happened, but she's still not going to feel great about it. And I don't think she's going to feel great about it when he comes back. She might be like, yeah, I understand, but I'm still not getting to spend time with you.
Yeah, I feel like we're probably going to see her again. I mean, we spent 3 episodes with her, and they have continued to thread it through where he's tried to text her and she's like, not interested, not interested. That I think we will see it all wrap up. He'll go and see her. I mean, is there going to be some sort of another cliffhanger? I don't know. Are they just going to wrap it up? I mean, it's a possibility, but I think they're probably going to want to do more of these.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to see Wynn Duffy, Ava Boyd.
Give us one. Just give us one of them.
Or all of them.
Or give us something in the final seconds so that when we come on here to do our finale reaction, we're just like screaming our heads off, because that's what we all want. I mean, maybe you guys don't want that, then you have to turn down the volume. But you know what? We want to be shocked, angry, big. We want an emotional thing, and that's one of the problems with this season. It's had good moments, but it's also just felt flat at times.
Yeah, I mean, the show hasn't been renewed yet, but that doesn't mean that it won't be. And Justified, just give a big cliffhanger. Like, let's dare them to not bring this show back.
FX, do you want the wrath of the Raylan stands? I don't know if the Raylan stands have a better name for themselves, but you guys can figure that out. But okay, well, we'll wrap this up. But join our Patreon. We got a link in the description below. Live streams every Monday. Thank you guys so much for your support over there. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you here next time.